the Frontline Club, the bastion of traditional media moving into the more contemporary media world. And here we have someone who is contemporary media. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Samuel Carlisle. I'm Sam the Techie on Twitter. One of the co-founders of a service called Suki. I trained as an electronic engineer, but I was drawn to the UCL occupation back in 2010, where I found there was a community that really needed to be able to communicate in real time during protests and collaborate. Around the idea of what was happening on the protest, keep themselves well informed, and sort of sucked down the rabbit hole, and I've come out the other side, more than a year later, and I'm still working on this stuff.
Cool. Can you're in the Frontline Club, which is kind of it's a traditional journalist haunt. Do you feel welcome? How do you feel these journalists are treating you?
I think there's a really great synergy between people or purveyors of technology, or techies and geeks, and journalists, because effectively there's a fantastic opportunity to help and empower each other. What I would need to know as an engineer from a journalist is, what are the problems you're having? Getting the stories out. What are the practical problems with your devices? You're not enough battery life, or incompatibility, or not enough bandwidth, or you're worried about data integrity or security. I need to know those problems, and actually then saying and I'd be willing to help solve them. If I were to know, and those concerns and design constraints and things would go into the new apps which are created, and kind of increasing awareness on both sides of how we can help. So I feel very welcome, and equally a welcome contribution from journalists to the projects I'm doing in fact checking and getting the story right as we're trying to give people informational updates during protests.
So tell us about Suki briefly. What is it?
Essentially, it's a mobile web app which aims to take this torrent of information that's coming through on Twitter and crowdsourced, such as through SMS messages and direct reports sent through the app, to keep demonstrators safe, mobile, and informed. We try and filter, improve the signal-to-noise ratio, if you will, of the data that's coming into us, and distill that into a series of updates and a map which can be viewed at suki.org/web app. And this tries to keep you well informed. It gives you an overview and lets you kind of collaborate and empower other demonstrators by submitting updates.
So you're involved in a recent project, Spring of Code. Can you give us a plug for that and tell us briefly what it's about?
Absolutely. So essentially, to try and leverage and make the best use of all of the energy around, in the open source community, and all of the, actually very well-natured, lovely people that like writing software. Geeks will find great companions amongst people with similar ideas, and we want to basically bring everyone together, volunteers, old developers, and social app innovators, as mentors, to try and create some new software. We've been featuring Occupy and other groups quite heavily in the projects that we've been taking on, but all comers are welcome. We intend to have good 3 months of coding and see spring out in a good way.
Okay, give us some web addresses quick.
Okay, so go to springofcode.org. You can find the Suki project on there, for example. It'd be fantastic to see you over there, and come and volunteer. Lots of fantastic roles for people to take up, and we'd love people to get involved, rate projects, submit comments, and effectively tell us the kind of apps that they're looking for, because the app is only really any good when there's a real demand from the community for that app to exist. So let's see more apps which have strong communities behind them. They're really needed.
Fantastic. Check out what Sam's up to, suki.org, and come along to the Spring of Code. And I must say, Vision on TV actually is involved in the Spring of Code. It's hard to know as a journalist when you're on the inside or the outside. It's a new world. Hamish Campbell reporting for Vision on TV.